The Chariot Maker, Pacetana Sutta, and Nikaya 3.15. On one occasion, the Blessed One was staying near Varanasi in the deer park at Pacetana. There he addressed the monks. "Monks." "Yes, Lord," the monks responded to him. The Blessed One said, "Once, monks, there was a king named Pacetana. One day, King Pacetana said to his chariot maker, 'My good chariot maker, in 6 months' time from now, a battle will take place. Can you make me a new pair of chariot wheels?' 'Yes, your majesty, I can,' the chariot maker replied to the king. Then, in 6 months minus 6 days, the chariot maker finished 1 wheel. King Pacetana said to him, 'In 6 days' time from now, the battle will take place. Will the pair of chariot wheels be finished?' 'Your Majesty, in these 6 months minus 6 days, I have finished 1 wheel.' 'But can you finish the second wheel in these 6 days?' 'Yes, your Majesty, I can,' the chariot maker replied to the king. Then, after finishing the second wheel in 6 days, the chariot maker took the pair of wheels to the king, and, on arrival, said to him, 'Here is your new pair of chariot wheels, all finished, your Majesty.' 'And what is the difference between your wheel that took 6 months minus 6 days to finish, and your wheel that took 6 days to finish? I don't see any difference between them at all.' 'There is a difference between them, your Majesty. Look at the difference.' Then the chariot maker took the chariot wheel that took 6 days to finish and set it rolling. Going as far as its momentum carried it, it twirled around and fell onto the ground. But then he took the chariot wheel that took 6 months minus 6 days to finish and set it rolling. Going as far as its momentum carried it, it stood motionless, as if fixed on an axle. Now what is the reason, my good chariot maker? What is the cause, why the chariot wheel that took 6 days to finish, when set rolling, goes as far as its momentum carries it, and then, twirling around and around, falls on the ground? And what is the reason, what is the cause, why the chariot wheel that took 6 months minus 6 days to finish, when set rolling, goes as far as its momentum carries it, and then stands motionless, as if fixed on an axle? Your Majesty, as for the wheel that took 6 days to finish, its rim is crooked, with faults and flaws. Its spokes are crooked, with faults and flaws. Its hub is crooked, with faults and flaws. Because its rim is crooked, with faults and flaws, its spokes are crooked, with faults and flaws. Its hub is crooked, with faults and flaws. When set rolling, it goes as far as its momentum carries it, and then, twirling around and around, falls onto the ground. But as for the wheel that took 6 months minus 6 days to finish, its rim is not crooked, with no faults or flaws. Its spokes are not crooked, with no faults or flaws. Its hub is not crooked, with no faults or flaws. Because its rim is not crooked, with no faults or flaws, its spokes are not crooked, with no faults or flaws. Its hub is not crooked, with no faults or flaws. When set rolling, it goes as far as its momentum carries it, and then stands motionless, as if fixed on an axle. Now, monks, the thought may occur to you that the chariot maker on that occasion was someone else. But it shouldn't be seen that way. I myself was the chariot maker on that occasion. I was skilled in dealing with the crookedness, the faults, the flaws of wood. Now, I am a worthy one, rightly self-awakened, skilled in dealing with the crookedness, faults, and flaws of bodily action, skilled in dealing with the crookedness, faults, and flaws of verbal action, skilled in dealing with the crookedness, faults, and flaws of mental action. any monk or nun in whom the crookedness, faults and flaws of bodily action are not abandoned, the crookedness, faults and flaws of verbal action are not abandoned, the crookedness, faults and flaws of mental action are not abandoned, has fallen away from this Dhamma and Vinaya, just like the wheel that took 6 days to finish. But any monk or nun in whom the crookedness, faults and flaws of bodily action are abandoned, the crookedness, faults and flaws of verbal action are abandoned, the crookedness, faults and flaws of mental action are abandoned, stands firm in this Dhamma and Vinaya, just like the wheel that took 6 months minus 6 days to finish. Thus you should train yourselves. We will abandon crookedness, faults and flaws in bodily action. We will abandon crookedness, faults and flaws in verbal action. We will abandon crookedness, faults and flaws in mental action. That's how you should train yourselves.